In 1993, Canadian soldiers deployed to Somalia tortured and murdered a 16-year-old Somali boy. After a court-martial, several were jailed. An entire regiment was disbanded in disgrace. Now it's emerged that the Canadian military was giving its soldiers mefloquine, and many may have been experiencing its now well-documented neuropsychiatric side effects.
How many more families got to stand here on these steps and tell you what mefloquine actually does to your family? Soldiers are suffering from mefloquine. It is not always PTSD. Stop using this drug. Burn the recipe.
MARJ, MATCHEE and veterans of many Canadian overseas deployments have gathered outside Parliament, calling for more support for those who suffered from mefloquine use. Organizer BONA, who was in Somalia in 1992, says the drug continues to take a horrendous toll.
We're losing about a veteran a week is coming through our Facebook feeds that have committed suicide. So it's still happening.
LIONEL, a veteran of Canada's mission to Afghanistan, killed his mother, wife and daughter before committing suicide. He'd been diagnosed with PTSD, but his family has now found out that he'd been taking mefloquine. His sisters told the Ottawa rally it was time for action.
This is why we're here today, to continue this fight, not only for an inquiry into my brother's death, but to also make sure that that little white pill called mefloquine is kicked to the curb, and we know change is going to occur, and we won't have to sit here and worry about anybody falling back in the cracks no more.
As of last June, Canada no longer requires its troops overseas to take mefloquine. But unlike the US, Australia and Germany, it hasn't banned the drug entirely from use by the military. International campaigners want Canada to look seriously at the role of mefloquine in problems experienced by Canadian soldiers overseas.
I suspect that part of the reason the Canadian military and the Canadian government are reluctant to be too critical of mefloquine, even when other countries have all but abandoned it, is because this would force the Canadian government to come to terms with some very unpleasant moments in its history.
Well, the Canadian government is finally taking some steps to deal with this dangerous antimalarial. These veterans who've come here today and the thousands who support them say there's much more that needs to be done. Daniel Lack, Al Jazeera, Ottawa.